What's up, YouTube? This video is going to be about my racks and stuff. I built 24 of these 6-shot sleeves. Here's a few of them. Some more down here. Some more. I'm actually not going to use them for shells. I'm using them for something else. But because of that, I just put these little feet on them to keep them steady. But this year I'm going to be shooting off a comet run, and I have these bigger tubes here in the front, and there'll be 24 comets, and I'm going to do a special run on. But those are my 6-shot racks, and then I have this 18-shot rack. I did a video on that before, and then back here I've got a 20-shot rack. Let's see, what else do I have in here? These right here, I built these to tie my. Somebody started the truck. It's hot, so putting the air on. These I built just to tie my modulars to. That way they're up off the ground, and reduces the possibility of one of them getting melted. So that's what these are for. Anyways, I'm gonna go. I'm in a barn where all my racks are stored, but I'm gonna go to the garage and show you some more stuff that I built. Okay, so I showed you my mortar racks and the little stands that I made for my modulars, and this right here is my little holder for the slices and sweeps. I have a bunch of this pegboard left over from projects that I've done on garages, and anyways, it never hurts to use scrap stuff instead of having to buy things all the time. But anyways, I've got a base in here. You can kind of see the different color. I've got a base running through the bottom here, and just nailed this this pegboard to the base, and then I'll run some more zip ties down through here just for security purposes, but it really doesn't need it. It's good to go. And then down between each slice and sweep, I just cut a piece of plywood and put in there. It really doesn't, you don't really have to separate these, but I had extra plywood, so why not, you know? These things are in there snug, they're not going anywhere, and this will do the trick. Each one that I built will hold 5, and I have 5 of them, so do the math. I've got 25 sweeps that I plan on putting in the air this year. Some of them I'll be doing 3 at a time from the left, center, and right, and then sometimes I'll be doing 2 in between the left center and right center. So I really look forward to seeing these going up in the air. Slices and sweeps are really cool. That's one of my favorite effects that you can get in this pro line stuff. They just really do a good job. But that's the slice and sweep holders. And the next thing that I'm going to do is show you how I put together my boards. So I'll get everything going, and that'll be the next thing. So here's an example of my boards that I make for my cakes, my 500 gram, 200 gram cakes. What I do is beforehand I make a list of my show. Of course, I list everything, list how many is going to be shot on that cue, and then I kind of, based off of that, try to lay out things, line up my items the items. For instance, like if I have a black beard bounty shooting from a position, the left position, I will try my best to match it up over on the other side, on the right, on the board. But you know, you come across where you've got some weird shaped cakes, and you know, for instance, there'll be a portion of the show that's got 3 of these going at the same time, one from the left, one from the right, and one from the center. So that creates an odd amount of boards and shapes and cakes to lay out. So start off with my list and try to line everything up, and after that I lay them out on the board. Yep, get my handy Sharpie and start drawing these down on the board. This is an example of my boards, and I will start marking these with a marker, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so this is the board that I had all the cakes laid out on. Taking a Sharpie to it, drawing it up, and this is what I come up with. So I will have one identical to this one on the right side, and they will be spread out about 110 feet. And I do this, I know that it's probably an extra step, probably takes a little bit more time than some people the way they do it, but I do this so I know exactly how many boards I will have to take out there to the field, because I'm basically doing all this myself. I will have my wife help me take some of this stuff out to the field, but you know, all the prep work and everything is me. So to save on making mistakes once I get out in the field, when it's, you know, 100 degrees that day, I take this extra step, draw everything out, make sure I have every single cake that's supposed to be in the show on a board and ready to roll for that day. So the next step after this is start cutting the bottom off of all the cakes and putting the initiators in, the MJG initiators, and that will be the next step that I show you. So I've got a Blackbeard's Bounty cake here, and first thing I want to point out, I got the bottoms cut off of them, and this is what I like to see. It's got a little wood base to it. Makes it really easy to glue them down to my boards. But the next step is to put a match in them. A initiator. I keep calling them match, but the official word is initiator. Here it is. Here's Fluffy. Fluffy's gonna help. She's guarding the place for me. Anyways, you have to follow where the actual fuse is, because when you get it in the box, it's covered up. It's covered by its fuse protector and whatnot. So you kind of have to cut it open. Be careful, don't cut into the tube. But there it is. That's where it actually ends up being. So what I do is I just poke my hole into the tube. There, pull my fuse out. It's got a little knot on it. Then I'll do this one more time. You can hear it crunching a little bit. That lets you know that you're in the black powder. Then I take the match. You gotta untwist it a little bit to give you some room to play with. Leave this shunt on, by the way. Don't take it off until you're ready to hook everything up out in the field. For safety purposes, just leave this thing on. Untwist it and stick her in there. And now you have instant ignition whenever you're ready. I like to tape this to the box as such. That way, whenever it's out in the field, you don't, if you trip on it or whatever, it won't actually pull out of the box. So what I do is, this is just regular masking tape. It's green, but the first thing I do is tape over where I plugged it. Pull that back. Then I get me another piece. This stuff's really sticky. Get another one about halfway up, and then one more towards the top. It's probably more tape than most people like to use or what they want to do, but for me, it's just one more added thing of protection. That way, if you do trip on it, this thing's not going anywhere. I mean, it's on there. So when you get it out in the field, you can run your scab wire or run this directly to the module, and then you're ready to roll. And like I said, I can almost lift this thing up by this wire. I'm not going to do it, but if you trip on it, it's not going to go anywhere. So that's what I like to do. The next cake that I'm going to show you is a Proline cake, and the Proline makes things even easier for you when it comes to hooking things up to your firing system. So, all right. This is a Spirit 76 Proline cake, and when you order their product, it tells you whether or not it's got an E-port or a twist lock or whatnot on it. But when you get the cake, you'll see the ones that have the E-port has a sticker on them. It says E-port on them. But that doesn't necessarily mean, if that sticker's there, it doesn't mean that that's exactly where the E-port is. For instance, on this cake, it's right above the fuse. You'll see here. But it's always smart, before you start cutting into things, just feel around where the fuse is, and you can normally feel this round button, round plug, and that's where your E-port is. So you just pull that plug out. So this is the board I was showing you earlier. This is the final step before taking it out to the field and setting it up. I've got all 6 of these, or actually 7 of these, glued down. I just wanted to show you that process. Hopefully you can hear me. I've got a fan blowing and stuff. It's pretty warm. But I go pretty, I use quite a bit of this liquid nails, and I'm sure somebody will say that I use too much, but whatever. The whole purpose of it is for this to be held down, and that's what I want to happen. I don't want it to go anywhere, so I use as much as I think I should. So for this whole board, we've got 8 cakes and I used a half a tube of the liquid nails. Last year I did the same thing, and none of my cakes moved. They all stayed in place, and it wasn't that difficult to get them off the boards afterwards. So, you know, it worked. So that's what I'm doing this year. That's left and right, basically. And we've got 8 cakes on these boards, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 more to do. Yep, 10 more to do, and hopefully I get them all done in time. Hey, I hope you enjoyed my video. This picture in front of us is my Pyro Llamas mounting systems for special effects, and this will be the next video that I do. I'll see you then.